automatic bid. Butler will have a struggle, but they will win. Pitt and Butler. Kansas State at large out of the Big 12, and Utah State at large out of the Mountain West. Or excuse me, an automatic bid out of the WAC. Kansas State wins that one quite easily. Wisconsin and Belmont. Wisconsin at large bid from the Big 10. Upset special. Belmont almost beat Duke 3 years ago. They will top off Wisconsin. Belmont wins. Kansas State and Belmont. The other side, St. John's at large bid out of the Big East and Gonzaga out of the West Coast Conference. St. John's will win that one because Adam Morrison has graduated from Gonzaga. BYU, an at-large bid from the Mountain West, and Wofford, an automatic bid from the Southern. Jimmer is the winner. BYU will win that. At-large bid from the Pac-10, UCLA against at-large from the Big Ten, Michigan State, who should not be here. Harvard should be here. Look at their resume, NCAA folks. 24 wins. Lost by a buzzer beater to Princeton. Why are they out? Either way, that team loses, UCLA advances. Florida out of the SEC and UCSB, an automatic bid. No contest, Florida wins. So in the Southwest I have Pitt and Butler, Kansas State and Belmont, St. John's and BYU, UCLA and Florida. Now, to the second round. The round of 32. Ohio State and George Mason for the East bracket. Not much of a contest here, although George Mason had Villanova. Ohio State will win that. West Virginia and Kentucky will be a contest. Bob Huggins has them ready. So does Calipari. But Calipari has more experience. Kentucky wins that. Ohio State, Kentucky. Xavier and Syracuse. Boeheim, we like his Frankenstein. And we like him to go to the Sweet 16. Syracuse wins. Washington and UNC. Although Isaiah Thomas Jr. is a great basketball player and his father not so great of a coach, I have to go North Carolina to win. So I have Ohio State, Kentucky, Syracuse, and UNC. Out of the West bracket, we have Duke and the University of Michigan. My friends, this will be a close game. I even had to flip a coin to think who will win. Duke will beat U of M. Unbiasedly. Memphis and Oakland, the upset special. Memphis has dropped. Oakland has risen. Oakland will win. Duke and Oakland. Cincy and UConn, Big East rivals. But Jim Calhoun is much better and UConn advances. Penn State and San Diego State. Penn State, not a lot of experience in basketball. San Diego State, automatic bid out of the Mountain West. San Diego State advances. UConn and San Diego State. From the West, I have Duke and Oakland. UConn, San Diego State. From the South, Kansas and Illinois. Bill Self, great coach. Kansas, great team. Illinois, not so much. Kansas advances. Richmond Spiders and Louisville. Richmond, automatic bid. Louisville, Rick Pitino, great team. Louisville will advance. Kansas and Louisville. Georgetown and Purdue. Purdue, good team out of the Big Ten. Georgetown, all right team out of the Big East. Purdue will win that game. Texas A&M and Notre Dame, not that much of a contest. Notre Dame advances. I have Kansas and Louisville, Purdue and Notre Dame. Pittsburgh and Butler. Butler came this close to a national championship last year. They will come this close to a national championship this year. Pittsburgh wins that game. Kansas State and Belmont. Although Belmont comes out of a huge upset over Wisconsin, not so much of Kansas State. Kansas State has had experience. Kansas State advances Pitt and Kansas State. St. John's and BYU. Once again, Jimmer is the winner. BYU will beat St. John's. UCLA and Florida. Billy Donovan has the Gators ready, and he will beat UCLA. So I have Pitt and Kansas State, BYU, and Florida. Moving to the Sweet 16. Ohio State and Kentucky, first off. Ohio State, the #1 seed overall. Kentucky, great team. I like Calipari, but they just don't have the talent to go this far. Ohio State will win. Syracuse and North Carolina. We like Boeheim's Frankenstein from the ESPN Dancing Coaches commercial. But Roy Williams, my friends, always has his squad ready and better ready than Jim Boeheim and his Frankenstein and all. UNC will win that. Ohio State and North Carolina. Duke and Oakland. This is where Oakland falls apart. Not much of a contest. Duke advances. UConn and San Diego State. I like San Diego State, but they don't have the experience. Jim Calhoun does. UConn advances. To the other side of the bracket, Kansas and Louisville. Both great coaches. Both of them I like, but Kansas is better. Purdue and Notre Dame. Upset special here. Purdue. Winners. Kansas and Purdue. Pittsburgh and Kansas State. Will be a contest, but Pittsburgh will win. BYU and Florida. I said Jimmer was the winner. Jimmer is not the winner. Billy Donovan is the winner. Florida will advance. Pittsburgh and Florida. Now to the Elite Eight. Ohio State and North Carolina. Two great teams. One great matchup. #1 seed overall. ACC at large. Roy Williams. Ohio State wins. Thad Matta has his team ready to go because they are #1. They are in the Final Four. Duke and UConn. My friend Krzyzewski is just better. Duke will win that. Ohio State and Duke. Kansas and Purdue. Purdue has a lot of talent, but not as much as Kansas. Kansas will win that. Pittsburgh and Florida. Here's my only upset for the Final Four. Billy Donovan will beat Pittsburgh. Ashton Gibbs, sorry for you. Florida advances. Ohio State and Duke, Kansas and Florida. To the Final Four we go. Ohio State and Duke. Two great teams, two great coaches, one great matchup. But Duke has more experience. Duke won the national championship last year. They will make it back to the national championship this year under Coach Krzyzewski. Kansas and Florida. Florida, I don't think, is this great of a team, although they won 6 years ago. Kansas will advance. Duke and Kansas. And now for my national championship game. Duke, Blue Devils, Kansas Jayhawks. Kansas will win. 90-85. Kansas has more experience. Kansas will win. Take a look at my bracket. Study it. Does it look good? I hope so. Everybody have a great day. This was sponsored by